Welcome to qnawire.
So we're told that the deficit is increasing. Still, it's increasing, but we are increasing at a slower rate or at a lesser rate. So we're increasing, but we're increasing at a, you could say, decreasing rate. So what that means is if we were to look at a graph of this, is that we're increasing. So we're increasing, but we're slowly increasing less and less. So we're going to have kind of this curved shape that's kind of like an upside down U. And so what this tells us about our first derivative is, well, we know we're still increasing, and wherever we're increasing, that means our first derivative is going to be positive. So our first derivative is going to be greater than zero because we know that the deficit is still increasing. However, we're increasing at a decreasing rate. So the rate of increase would be the rate of our second derivative or of our first derivative, which is our second derivative, and we're increasing at a decreasing rate. So what that means is that this is actually going to be negative. Since our first derivative, if we look at a graph of our first derivative, which I'm just going to graph it like this, we would say that we're positive since we know that we still have an increasing deficit. We're going to have some positive values, but they're getting closer and closer to zero since we're having less and less of a increasing slope or positive a positive value for our first derivative. So if this was a graph of our first derivative, we can see that we are decreasing. So that means that our second derivative will have to be negative because the slope of our first derivative is negative when we're decreasing. So our first derivative is positive and our second derivative is negative.